Hey everybody, it's Trigger Bar Philosopher. Welcome back out to the channel. Today we got another great episode in our series on 380 ACP. Today we're going to be testing some S&B XRG ammunition along with our Bodyguard 2.0. Should be a good time. Let's get to shooting. Okay, well, we're getting up there in our videos. This is maybe video 29, I think, in our series in 380 ACP. Today, we're going to be testing again this 77 grain XRG bullet from Cellular and Below. It's called their energy bullet, and it's 77 grains. Should be going around 1100 feet per second. Again, that should be good. It looks like it's a solid copper or a, hybrid type bullet, not a lead-based bullet. Supposed to get some great expansion. We're going to put it to the test today. In particular, we're going to be testing it in our Bodyguard 2.0. Now, normally in my test series, I've been using the regular version of the Bodyguard 2.0. They've recently come out in the last year with the Performance Center or the carry comp version. This has a cut out in the slide that provides some compensation. It gets about 25 feet per second more than the standard Bodyguard because it has just a little bit longer barrel. And yes, it has a comp in it and a port in it, but it doesn't reduce the velocity because the barrel's longer than the regular one. So we're going to put it to the test today. Our regular Bodyguard is out for an optic mill, so today we got the Performance Center version. Shouldn't be that much different. And we're going to be shooting it into our gel, and we're going to be testing, will this perform? Now, 380 ACP is really intriguing to me because it's normally a round that's considered underpowered, and many people say, oh, just use a flat top FMJ. That's what I use. Well, we found there are several rounds, including Underwood XTP. Also, all the federal jacketed hollow points get over 12 inches of penetration. They get some expansion, which is better than your FMJ, and is going to provide a bigger wound track, bigger wounding, and therefore bigger terminal effect on whatever you're trying to get out of. There are a lot of 380 ACP jacketed hollow points that don't perform, and they don't get up a deep enough penetration, and maybe either don't expand, aren't going fast enough to expand, or they don't do enough damage. So with that said, we're going to put this to the test today. We have our real world test setup that I have borrowed from Gun Sam. And again, just because I've borrowed this from Gun Sam doesn't mean that you're copying him. Well, yeah, I mean, this is what science does. We evolved. He does a pretty good test. So we're going to use 2 inches of gel. He uses 4. Then we're going to have medium density fiberboard, 1/4 inch of it. And then we're going to have more ballistic gelatin. In front of all of that, we're going to put some layers, 2 layers of t-shirt, 2 layers of denim in front of that. And we're going to see, do these bullets expand? Also, we'll do a second test, and we'll do it without any layers of t-shirt or the medium density fiberboard. And we'll see how this does just in pure ballistic gel. Also do a second ballistic test without any layers of clothing and without the medium density fiberboard to see what results we get if you ever have a naked assassin coming at you. And it tells us almost a little bit of worst case scenario. If there's no clothing clogging up the hollow point, preventing it from expanding it, how will it perform with just ballistic gelatin? That should be a good test too. Then we'll be doing some chronographing to see what velocities we get out of the smaller gun, and then we'll test it for accuracy, and then we'll see what all of these tell us about this ammunition. Should be a good time. Let's get to shooting. Okay, well, folks, this is our ballistic setup. We've got 2 layers of denim, 2 layers of t-shirt, 2 inches of ballistic gel, 1/4 inch of medium density fiberboard, and then we have a whole bunch more, 32 inches of clear ballistic gelatin for our test today. This is a quick look at the bullet itself. Again, looks like a solid copper expanding bullet, so let's see how it performs. Okay, we have that 77 grain Cellular and Below XRG bullet. We'll put it into the real world test, see how it goes. All right, we got 1101. Hey, I am supposed to get 1110. Got 1101 with that. Let's go see. Okay, well, that was anticlimactic. Something happened with the camera. I did press record, but it still didn't, something didn't work right, and it did not record. So taking a quick look at it, we see mostly that, yes, it did expand. It does some good damage in there, but it gets out to about the 10-inch mark, and that's it. Yeah, that's not quite enough for what I'm looking at, but it gets decent expansion. All right, well, we're going to try that one more time. For whatever reason, the slow-mo camera didn't work, so let's just try it one more time so we can get some shot of it. Second shot, 1096. I think we captured it that time. Okay, well, interesting. I'm glad that we messed up on the first round because we got a slightly different result. I'm gonna have to dig these both out of here, but we see that this time I took a lower angle into it, and maybe I can pull all of this out. We can see, oh, we got great expansion in the first inches or two. These are both of those rounds. So very nice, very good expansion in the first couple of inches of the clear ballistic gel. You don't see it because of my contraption, but these are the two rounds. You can see we got somewhat, or maybe you can't see, but we got some decent expansion from those in the first couple of inches. Then they hit the medium density fiberboard. Then they continued to expand. And again, our first one hit just a little bit lower, came back up, and it goes just a little bit deeper. Again, we got it out to exactly the 1 inch mark. Right here is where that is landing. So that's pretty good. That's, you know, that's in my feeling, that's sort of baseline. Again, this is with clothing, with medium density fiberboard, not just the regular gel. So, and my experience has been the medium density fiberboard, you're getting something that's more similar to what you would get with organic gelatin in terms of penetration. So I don't think this is further, but boy, look at that. That's a beautiful round. Let me pull these out and get the calipers out. Okay, well, let's take a look. This is the second shot that went just a little bit further. Take a look at its penetration, and very nice at 0.54. It's way better. That's way better. It's like a full 1/10 of an inch better and bigger than what you're getting, almost 2/10 of an inch bigger than what you're getting with your FMJ, and even arguably more because an FMJ, oftentimes a round nose, just push the material out of the way, create a very small wound track. And again, with pistol bullets, most of the wounding isn't what you're seeing in the organic gelatin. That's temporary cavity. Most of the wounding with pistols is just the permanent cavity. All right, so let's take a look at this first one that didn't go as far, which is kind of ironic. It got around 0.52. The other one got 0.54. Not sure why one went further. Also, the first one had a little bit higher velocity on it, so just curious, and been probably just differences between the two rounds being shot there. But at any rate, that's, you know, we're getting up there. It's up to 12 inches now. The average is below 12 inches. So, you know, maybe not. I don't know if it's going to displace, but you know, that's a very nice wide mushrooming bullet. Color me impressed. Let's shoot one more just into the clear ballistics gel. Okay, well, let's just do a shot into the clear ballistic gel. Let's say you have a naked assassin with no clothing on and you're worried about how does the bullet perform. Now, again, I will say that it's important to do this test without any clothing or medium density fiberboard, because I want to know worst case scenario for the ballistics of this solid copper. Is it going to expand so much that it only gets 6 inches of penetration? We've had that. We've had that with Winchester. So I want to test it and see what we get. All right, we're recording. Go see what we got. And we got 1098. Very consistent. Very consistent. All right, well, let's take a look and see what we got. It got out to about the 11.5 inch mark with that. So clear ballistic, not clear ballistic, it seems to be getting around that same. This is for 380 ACP. This is a very wide expanding jacketed hollow point, which you may want. That may be what you want to do, because again, the wider it expands, the more damage it does, the more blood vessels, the greater possibility it hits a vein or an artery or whatever it is on your hunting target or whatever you're doing. Because I know y'all hunt with 380 ACP, but this is a good performing bullet. It didn't, I'm really kind of impressed that the clothing, the denim, didn't really change the behavior and performance of this bullet. They seem to be loading it with a good powder. Sure, it's not the 1110 that they said, but this is probably a shorter barrel than they might be normally testing. Like a Beretta or something like that, 80X will probably get that 1110 or even a little bit more. So far, I think this is a decent bullet, something for you to consider in your carry round. And again, if you're the type of person that likes to stack ammunition, like, oh, I want this bullet the first one, and I want that bullet the second one, and this one, this might be somewhere in your stack. It's a compelling thing to have somewhere in your stack, I think. For the expansion on this bullet that didn't have any clothing when it had to enter, it did get a little bit wider, 0.58. That's a little bit wider than the 0.54 that we saw at the best of those two previous rounds. So just for your data. Okay, well, next up we are going to be shoot a group with the Garmin Xero C1 to get some ballistic results, see how this bullet is performing with its velocities, how consistent it is. We have 6 rounds in just to kind of give us a little bit of a sample from it, see how we do. I'll include the data as I'm shooting and you won't have to hear me yapping. For our totals on that, we got a min of 1071, an average of 1010, which is exactly what the box says. So again, probably at the muzzle, it's getting what the box says, which is awesome. And a max of 1040. So we saw a pretty big spread. We saw a spread of almost 70 feet per second between the low and the high. Standard deviation is 23. Average kinetic energy is 211. That's great for 380 ACP. With that, why don't we go up and see how this performs when we shoot some groups. All right, well, we are at 5 yards. I like to choose 5 yards because it's consistent across the 28 videos that we've already done. It also shows me relative to the other rounds where this round in my gun is hitting, if it's high left, high right, low, whatever the case may be. We're not necessarily testing great mechanical accuracy at 5 yards with me not bench rested, but we are seeing what this round does on paper, meaning is the bullet tumbling? Is it doing weird things? Is it throwing flyers way off? You can start to see that even at 5 yards. So for that test, we've got 5 rounds. Let's see how we do. Okay, well, I had a separating group, but that's just me. Let's go down. Not too bad. We had a nice little group in here. First one I pulled maybe the 3rd or 4th one, and then we're back in the group. So I think that this round is acceptable in terms of accuracy. Okay, everybody, well, let's wrap things up. Today we had a great time testing the S&B XRG 77 grain ammunition with our Bodyguard 2.0. Today we had out the carry comp version to do some of our testing with it. And I think we had actually surprising results. I don't know that this displaces any of my top rounds, which to this point are the Underwood XTP, standard pressure version. If you like living on the wild side, you can get the plus P side of it. I don't. I also like any of the Federal jacketed hollow points. In terms of performance today, I think that this round expanded very nicely, one of the better expanding rounds for 380 ACP, and got a decent amount of penetration, even with that quasi-hard medium density fiberboard, quote unquote, rib simulation in there. So even with all of that, it's still got 12 inches. Probably it's still got around 10.5 inches on average. Probably for most cases that you're going to be using 380 ACP, that's acceptable. In my book, you're not using 380 ACP in a gunfight. You're using 380 ACP to get out. It's a mouse gun. You don't have great accuracy after about 5-10 yards. It's not something you're really in a gunfight. If you're in a gunfight, get that a dodge. You got to run. And so, or if you're going to be in a gunfight, have a different gun. But this is something that I like to have on me when I normally wouldn't have anything. It gives me a level of protection, a backstop for me and for my personal self-defense. Some people will use this as a backup gun. It's another great use case for that. But I think that this ammunition certainly could be in there and could be in your rotation. Again, maybe you're like, no, I like the reliability of FMJ. Bullet looks very similar to FMJ. I didn't have any reliability issues. Sometimes rounds have reliability issues with the Bodyguard. This seemed to run just fine. I think that this is a good one. This is definitely maybe not my top, but it's definitely in the A tier or at least the B tier of self-defense rounds for 380 ACP. That's my opinion. What's your opinion? Tell me what you think about this. Is this something that you would carry? What are your favorite personal self-defense rounds? Put that in the comments below. Hope everyone has a great week, and let's get to shooting.
From pistols to rifles, we'll take on the best. Review and each weapon, put
Hey everybody, it's Sugar Bar Philosopher.
revolvers and shotguns, we'll break it all down. The Second Amendment protects from the crown. Living for freedom, defending our rights. We got in our hearts, we'll rise to new heights. From the range to the woods, we're
a regular body. Okay, at 5, we are at we are at 5 yards. I like to use 5 yards so that we can test and see if this. Okay. All right.
Conceal, carry wisdom, good guy with a gun. Self